On the last day in June, the Five Nights at Freddy's community was hit with a very interesting post by Scott Cawthon. At first, people thought he was simply trolling, but this post was a bit different than the rest. It concerned his own well-being, and that is something people typically don't joke about, especially given the size of the fanbase. People thought he may have been kidding like his sister location posts in the past, but there is something we often forget about in the world of online games. And that's the state of mind of the people who create them. Before going further, let's quickly summarize what was written. In the post, Scott talks about how each and every game sets the expectations higher and higher of the fanbase. This has caused pressure to mount and more than likely leaves him feeling anxious while making the game. Because of this, as he puts it, I've decided to stop working on it, aka the game. He isn't going to reveal anything about what was made so far, nor will any collaborators involved in the project. He says this won't be the end of him making games, it's just that he wants to get back to what made making games enjoyable. It's about him expanding his horizons. He talks about the fun he had making Foxy Fighters during Update 2, and that maybe he'll make a Pizzeria Tycoon game in the future. He mentions the movies and books for a bit before saying, "I hope you can respect and understand my decision. I want to spend more time with my family and get back to what made me enjoy making games in the first place." Now, I'm sure this isn't the absolute end of Five Nights at Freddy's, as there are other forms of media planned besides just the games. However, perhaps it's the end in a different kind of way. This is a good opportunity to talk about what has probably happened to Scott, and happens to many people in general. Most creative people like to create simply based on what they're inspired about, and I know as a YouTuber, this plays a large role in everything that I do. And beyond that, the same thing happens to artists, game designers, and musicians. When what you do is boiled down to one thing, it has many benefits and drawbacks. It's beneficial because your fans know exactly what to tune in for. In Scott's case, his fans tuned in for their favorite creepy pizzeria experience and the mystery behind it. That's great because it builds upon each and every release of the game. However, the creative mind tends to wander. While the first couple games may have been an exciting rush, constantly creating the same thing over and over again, trying to maintain that hype, is very taxing. It's like being stuck inside doing homework as a kid, when you want nothing more than to go outside and play with your friends or play video games. You are tied to your project, but your mind wanders elsewhere. This happens to creatives all the time, and it's a very hard place to be. If people tune into you expecting the next greatest installment of their favorite horror series, but you don't want to continue doing horror, you battle with the thought of them not liking what you will do next. Beyond that, creating something that your heart isn't in will only yield a mediocre product. Forcing yourself to make something you don't want to make is one of the longest and most grueling processes ever. It's why I always procrastinated on any project in life that was boring to me. I'd wait to write my school papers or do my math homework at the last minute. When creating a game is no longer about the enjoyment of making a game, and it's more so a race to the finish line to satisfy a fanbase, it's no longer art in the eyes of the creator. It becomes a chore, and I think that's what FNAF became for Scott. It's a very unhealthy place to be. A big issue with all of this is that people became a fan of Scott for only one of his games. However, Scott has been producing games since 2002, and honestly, probably started to create games in the late 90s. Five Nights at Freddy's hit late in 2014, but this was long after Scott had been making games for well over a decade, a time period where he created 20 to 30 different games. This goes to show that Scott had a multitude of interests over the years, and that even though Five Nights at Freddy's was successful, it wouldn't be where his heart would ultimately reside. The wide variety of games he produced in the past was because he was always experimenting with his creativity, and creativity isn't meant to be bound to one thing forever. If it is, it will eat away at the heart of the creator. As a YouTuber myself, I totally understand this feeling. Creativity is a boundless force, and even though I create videos for a living, I'm also writing a series of fantasy novels and a book on being a YouTuber. Plus, I have a huge passion for game design. When I was younger, I actually worked on the game for like 5 years. These interests don't go away, and I'm 100% certain Scott has been analyzing his life as a creator. He may have found success in Five Nights at Freddy's, but his roots are certainly elsewhere. So maybe we are at a crossroads where Five Nights at Freddy's may indeed end. But at the same time, perhaps the next greatest thing from Scott simply has yet to be born. Either way, I'm certainly looking forward to what the future holds. But now that I've dumped it on all of you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think will happen to Five Nights at Freddy's? And how do you feel about this recent change of events? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And with that, thanks for tuning in to this creative analysis. If you'd like to join me on my YouTube voyage and continue to dive into the mysteries behind games, then the subscribe button is just what you're looking for. Thanks for watching, guys and gals, and until my next video, cheers. If you like this video, perhaps you'll enjoy some of my others. I recently did an analysis on MatPat and the Game Theorists, and how they got to where they are today on YouTube. There's a slew of other theories on this channel too, so regardless, I hope you enjoy.